So how many of you have been in a big traffic jam in the last week? Raise your hands. Wow, wow. It's a small, crowded lifeboat we're all in. And so today I hope we can all grab an oar and find a destination and pull together and get there and uncrowd this lifeboat, because we're the ones that are going to have to do it. I can tell you, our legislators are going the wrong direction. Our city fathers don't know what they're doing. So it's got to be us setting things right for them. So just to kind of put things in perspective, let's look back just a little bit. Our forefathers in the 60s realized that there was going to be congestion on the I-5 corridor. And so they said, oh, what can we do about that? Let's think about an east side bypass. And of course, there were those who said it's too expensive, it's too big, we can't get our minds around it, let's just not do it. But the visionaries persisted. And in 1983, the I-205 bypass, east side bypass, opened from stem to stern, clear down here south of Portland, crossing the Willamette, going north, crossing the Columbia River, and ending up clear up here north of Vancouver. That's a big project. Boy, I'd be intimidated by that nowadays. And where would we be today without their vision and the implementation of vision? Can you imagine life here without the east side bypass? So having that thought, let's take a look at what a west side bypass might be. And having said that, let me just orient you here. Here's the I-5 corridor right here. And we know it's pretty congested. And we also know very clearly now that if we replace this bridge here, we still have congestion at every one of these points along this, particularly here, backing traffic up. We could put a new bridge, 10 lanes, 20 lanes here, we would not get to Portland any faster, as Kevin has just pointed out. So we need to do something different. What if we did something coming down here, that went here, that went here, and there, that connected Vancouver to North Portland and to Hillsborough, Beaverton area? Let's take a look at that. Oops. Okay. West Express here, starting in Vancouver, for now anyway, looping around, crossing by the Burlington Northern Railroad Bridge, going down here, picking up Swan Island and going down here and hooking up to 405. Later on, connecting down here to Highway 26, Beaverton, Hillsborough area. I want you to know that, we looked at this as the shortest distance between 2 points. That's great. That doesn't always work politically. So when we put these things in, there are people who want to see this, like the mayor of Hillsborough would like to see this happening up here. Other people would like to see it happening here. And those are all things we can work on. I think the main thing we got to say is, hey, we got to get here to here. And we'll talk about how we're going to do that. So here's phase 1 of the West Express. By the way, the West Express, this whole thing going down here is an 8-lane, high-speed, limited access expressway. Those are all very carefully chosen words because that's what it takes to have traffic speed. Not a lot of on-ramps and off-ramps. The outer lanes are all merging lanes. So you have a mile or two to merge, so you're up to speed. You're not trying to merge too soon and slowing and cobbling up traffic. So, phase 1 starts here in Vancouver, crosses the river by the Burlington Northern Bridge, and then returns to I-5. This is not an impossible thing. It's every bit as easier than just replacing this bridge when we don't have any, alternative routes. This goes around here, returns, and suddenly we have insulated ourselves against consequences of bridge lifts, accidents on this, road maintenance, and traffic can flow around here unimpeded with anything that happens along here. We've also jumped Hayden Island and the Marine Drive interchange that are big, that slow down traffic quite a bit. So this alone phase 1A of the West Express would help move traffic. It still confronts all this mess down here. Phase 1B, we'd like this to all be a phase 1. This is 1A and 1B. Comes down here and follows the Burlington Northern Railroad tracks through a deep cut through the West Hills. So the railroad tracks the bottom of the cut, and we're proposing that this West Express go on a little bit of a viaduct over the railroad tracks, but under the town, doesn't disturb any homes, comes down here and connects to Swan Island. By the way, I didn't mention, not only this is a great vehicular traffic zone for private autos, but we have, right now, we have connected 4 industrial parks. This is Port of Vancouver, Port of Portland, Swan Island, and coming down here, Northwest Industrial Area, and then it connects to 405. Immediately, when this is complete, we will move 1/3 of the traffic off this segment here, over here. Suddenly, without any changes along here, this traffic will start to flow. These intersections here will start to move better, and this circle will go, and the clots from merging from Interstate 84 coming in here will work much better. But that's not all. So eventually we'd like to tunnel underneath the West Hills somewhere here and connect up to this corridor. And what you can see once we do that, the moving parking lot every morning and evening here will suddenly become flowing traffic. The 405 interchange here will flow, and this whole circle will flow better. And this will really help Portland a lot. They don't want cars there. Hey, let's oblige them and put all the cars here and make that open there. So that's not all. So there is a phase 3 to this global plan. Here's the new East County Bridge, 192nd coming over here. We're going to hear more about that later, connecting to Interstate 84. And remember, we've already cleaned up this intersection, and so that allows this to flow, which allows this to flow. So we can start putting traffic down here. It's going to help a lot. You'll hear more about that later. So once we have flanked the big issue that everybody is focused on here, once we've flanked it with new corridors here and new corridors here, then we can choose to take a hard look at this and say, does this need to be replaced or does it need to be repurposed? Seismically upgraded and then repurposed as primarily local access only. All of the merge lanes, all of the overpasses and underpasses are all there to serve everybody in this entire area. And here, we don't have to do another thing. We've already solved it all here. So to repurpose this bridge is a bunch of old engineers from Portland suggested that, and I thought, wow, what a great idea. And so in that case, then of course, this West Express, this segment would become the new I-5 segment through.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
From the back, I cannot see your pointer, and I'm afraid that's probably similar to everyone else. This
Oh,
this
wow.
one is fairly powerful.
All right,
Welcome to
super.
Wagner.
Okay.
Answer.
Yes, sir. So, to replace this bridge now without these corridors, can you imagine what's going to happen? There will be 3 years of absolute misery, economic chaos, life chaos for all of us, and it's just amazing to me that people in the positions they're in the Washington State Legislature, the city of Vancouver and elsewhere would be even contemplating that. So we'd like a lot of feedback from you. Tell them what you think. So then finally, what we'd really like to do is protect downtown Vancouver and this intersection from the huge amount of traffic that's coming in here by extending the West Express up here and coming in maybe at the fairgrounds up here and coming down around some drainage basins and around some farms, protecting the wetlands here by being in a viaduct and then connecting down here. And so we're making life livable for this area here by moving a lot of traffic around. And that's our West Express and thoughts on global planning that doesn't seem to be happening elsewhere.
Okay.